think it took me quite some time before I kind of realized that I looked different.
There were thousands of comments on this video.
So we basically decided to do a little 2-3 day trip to Venice spontaneously. Yeah.
Beauty, whether it is surrounding us or how we feel about us, can be the source of great joy. But the concept of beauty and the way we currently apply it can also lead to a lot of pain.
It wasn't until I was 17 and I found the video on YouTube calling me the world's ugliest woman with my photo and knew that over 4 million people had seen it. There were thousands of comments on this video, and I just sat there and scrolled through every single one and read every single one because I was so desperate to find one person that was standing up for me, and I never found it.
When people meet me for the first time, they are curious, of course. You know, it's like, is that your real hair color? Who's your hairdresser? As someone sort of just shouting albino at me. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you very much for the update. They want you to feel different. And they want you to feel like an outsider. And they want you to feel sad.
But believe it or not, it's not all about your purely physical attribute. How we feel about ourselves plays a huge part on how the outside world sees us.
Feeling not pretty has little or nothing to do with actually being pretty, because you can actually be one of the most conventional, good-looking people in the world, but you can still feel like the ugliest person in the world.
I personally, like many of us, have a really twisted relationship with beauty, especially with the way I feel about myself. As a child, I started off a bit girly, but then quickly turned into a tomboy because of my older brother, who was my hero, if you will.
And eventually over time I became more and more of a tomboy, and I lost the skirts. And since then I have been claiming that I don't care and I'm not interested, especially that a whole chunk of my family is not interested in fashion or anything like that. And I took that on myself because I was like, ooh, fashion's not cool, it's lame. Maybe I'm too vain to care about it.
For a long time I also felt like staying natural was the best I could do, and I must admit I'm really not good at putting on makeup or doing my hair in any way. It's mostly looking wild, and must say that I've come to the conclusion that I just don't know how to do it, but it would probably look nice if I put some effort into it. Growing up in France, I must say that I've also experienced my fair bit of feeling harassed, and I learned that sometimes it's just better to hide as a woman in order to have peace. Now, this is not the reason that is stopping me from celebrating beauty anymore, but in the recent years I've just come to be a lot in my head with work and stress and a lot of things happening around us, really. Plus, I've turned to work home office, and as probably by now a lot of you know, because we've been through the corona situation, home office isn't always really glamour. You go for PJs and that's it, right? I also must say that it's been a few years now that I've been trying to live a bit more on a budget, hence clothes have just not been on the top of my list. Even though I must say that sometimes it does feel bad to wear clothes that have changed color over time, have holes, or even changed form because I've overused them. Now, you may have been wondering all this time, where does Venice come into play? Why am I showing you my short trip to Venice in the background here? Well, to some extent your environment definitely also gives you a feeling about beauty, and in a way, when I got to Venice, it reminded me of beauty, and I kind of wanted to live up to the Venice standard in a way. And when I say that, by any means, I don't mean to, dress up like an Italian girl. I just mean being more glamour, being more beautiful in my own way. So if you look at the videos, you'll see that I just went straight for a khaki jacket, my worn off shoes that are more like sporty, and a red dress, which is kind of a funky combination, but that's just the way I felt really great about myself.
So one of the hidden gems here is definitely that is the toilet. Yeah, the toilet is definitely the hidden gem because that's the view you have from the toilet. I'm not kidding. If you are a private person and you kind of like to do your business privately, this may scare you, but I think it's pretty awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna enjoy it now.
I felt glamorous and I loved the clash in my clothing and between me and my surroundings. And that was beautiful. So by now you've probably understood that I started off pretending I didn't care much for beauty and I didn't care much for looking beautiful because it wasn't really aligning with my values when I was younger.
I have my whole life said that this is something that I'm not interested in, even though I have always been interested in it. I have always been interested in fashion and expressing myself on the outside. It's so fun! It is so fun! Holy shit, I didn't expect that to ever come out of my mouth.
And I've always thought that beauty comes really from within.
Are you okay? You hit your head pretty hard.
Wait, that's me. That's me.
Oh my god, do you see this? Yes?
I'm beautiful!
I must say that to some extent, it has been validated for me. When I was 25 years old, I actually fell madly in love with someone I originally really did not find attractive. But that's another story. Just to confirm that beauty really comes from within and a personality can make a person look beautiful and even really hot to you. However, while I started despising physical beauty, I must say that the truth that I found out over the last couple of years is that if I'm not at least a little bit intentional about my outer looks, let's say, at least in my own way, it doesn't need to respect any beauty standard that comes from outside. Well, if I'm not at least a little bit intentional, then I will just not feel pretty and it will affect my self-image and my sense of self-worth. And you know that if I don't feel worthy, I found out that it affects a lot of different areas in my life, especially my romantic life, which really happens to be much more a reflection of how I feel about myself than I ever would have thought in the past.
My friends all throughout college and all throughout high school, I always made sure to surround myself with people who just always made me feel pretty even when I couldn't feel that way about myself. And so it's like it's a two-part thing. It's like, how do you feel about yourself, and like how are you projecting that onto others, that belief of not being pretty enough?
So here's my advice to you and to myself, because honestly I am not very consistent yet with what I am going to recommend you, but I'm taking the first steps. Treat yourself. No matter what you look like, you deserve to groom yourself in whatever way you want. You deserve to dress like you celebrate, or in a way that you feel ultra cool or serious. Just dress the way you want and the way you are going to feel. Align with your mood and shine out what you're feeling to the outside world. Put whatever makeup on that makes you feel good. You can either leave it all off just to celebrate your natural looks, or you can just put a lot of makeup on just to fully embrace an art that has obviously been present for millennia and use your body as a canvas.
Oh man, if I had a penny for every time someone had tried to make me look more normal. Weird hair, too much makeup, not enough eyebrows, my clothes are too big or too black or too manly or too revealing. You know what? There's a reason I look like this, and that's simply because I think it looks good. It's my style. It's not a freak accident that I sometimes look like a boy or wear enough makeup to cover a football field. It's what I like and feel comfortable in. And whatever you feel beautiful and comfortable in, that's what you should wear. If we listen to society's norms and demands, none of us would ever feel beautiful ever again. So you go ahead and do your own thing.
So just a little update here. I think we got into this place where we can have Prosecco for really cheap. And we got a bottle and we've been just drinking that on the plaza behind there. And now we decided to go for a coffee latte because we've been walking so long from this plaza over there to here, and that's the Prosecco and that's our cafe latte because we've been walking 2 minutes. So I think we deserve a cafe latte. Thank you.
And of course, have a crazy hairstyle. Whatever you feel like, this is the expression of what you feel is true beauty or experimental beauty even. Beauty can and should be different and varied. Beauty should not just be standardized beauty, but experimental beauty. I think here is a good moment to tell you how I felt about those videos when I first saw them. The funny thing is, when I saw this woman for the first time, I just saw this thumbnail and I thought this is a painting, a beautiful, colorful painting. And only when I clicked on the video did I realize that she was an actual person, but she reminded me of beautiful paintings that I have seen in the past. And I think we should celebrate this.
Halfway through, when I realized I should look up, everyone was looking at me and they were so quiet. And I could see like tears in people's eyes, and like there was a moment, there was a connection, and I felt like that whole I'm different shield was just gone. And we were just one group of people.
Once we were in the shop and this girl just sort of like stared at me. Just literally just stared and stared. And she didn't say a word. She just glowed and just looked at me and looked so happy.
The albino woman is absolutely gorgeous and reflects both self-confidence and an absolutely unique appearance, which I find absolutely breathtaking.
Maybe just because I am aware that I look different, then you kind of want to suss out why that person is interested.
I love paintings. I've been painting since I was 5. And the thing is, I never wanted to reproduce reality. Reality is beautiful in many ways, but I just felt like, why do you have a canvas if it's gonna be to reproduce what is already there? What I really wanted is to create my own world and a new world. And that's always what has felt most exhilarating to me. Why would we do the same with our appearance? If you feel good about yourself, you will more likely have a more positive impact on others around you, and you will certainly shine through. Now, I'm preaching here, but I'm still not there either. But I do remember as a role model that my own mother only started glowing in her mid-30s.
We can have a chat. I'll leave you some space. I'm not that kind of person. Where's your friend? You were mating a little bit yesterday, weren't you?
Feeling good about yourself and beautiful can take time, and I'm taking the small steps to get there. I want to start buying clothes again, little by little, but beautiful ones that are an investment, so to say, and respect my values as well. And I am making a little effort more often and often. How about you? How glamorous do you feel about yourself? and which steps are you taking to shine to the outside world?
We're not victims in any sense unless we allow ourselves to be.